God, this is not good.
We're going for a ride!
You were a second unit director long before you became a director. When you get a playground as big as something like this, what are the things that you hold on to, note that you're like, when I get my opportunity to direct something, I want to do this, but I want to do it bigger or complex?
Well, it is pretty amazing, like having the resources that you get in the Fast universe to make these big set pieces. I'll say there's a lot of things that you, as an action designer, you hold in your pocket and like hope you get the resources to do it. This idea of the connecting the cars and them driving together and like certain things that stick with you and you never have the resources for. This was a playground that let me do stuff.
The original Fast and Furious, one of the things that was sort of new about that movie was that they were using CGI to sort of amplify the chase scenes. And I wonder, when you watch the Blu-ray, it talks about how you guys amplified and augmented these action scenes with so much CGI. Do you feel a little sense of like, I'm cheating, or where do you strike the right balance?
No, I don't feel, I'm not that precious in that way. I mean, I love practical stunts, and don't get me wrong, when the movie demands it and that sort of authenticity is what it's all about. But what's happened in the Fast universe is they've been expanding it to these bigger set pieces that push the reality and push physics and but that's what fans like and fans respond to it. So when I knew I was entering this, I was like, let's embrace it. But when we attack the stunts and the effect sequences, I did try to do practical things that maybe other filmmakers wouldn't do. For example, the Black Hawk sequence, it's all a practical Black Hawk. 90% of that is like in the plate photography is like helicopter with an airship photographing it, real cars on the ground. Anytime we could have a practical element within a CG shot, we were doing it. And that's coming from my background. But I'm not afraid to embrace CG. I love it.
And finally, Hobbs and Shaw is a spin-off of the Fast and Furious franchise, but it is emblematic of, as you said, the way that the franchise has grown into this sort of international intrigue and all these other things. Were there elements, or was there any small keys to the Fast and Furious franchise that you were like, no matter how big and how wild we get, these are the things that I have to hold on to make sure that it still feels like it's part of that universe?
Yeah, I mean, there were elements, thematic elements, obviously, of like family and those touchstones. And then there's, the elements of cars, and here we are at the McLaren, factory. It's essential that the cars, play a real part. We had some great vehicle design within the Hobbs custom world, and then we had some great, cars that McLaren provided for Shaw's world. And I think that, making that work within the sort of new spy framework for these guys was tricky, but it's also what fans want, and we were trying to, service the fans.